The first step in building a business with government contracts is deciding on the service or product you want to offer and identifying the right customers to target.
In this video, you will learn how to use the Small Business Data Hub to analyze government contract data, helping you to zero in on where to focus your efforts to win contracts.
The Data Hub is a free resource available at datahub.certify.sba.gov. We'll start by finding your target customers and then explore what they typically purchase.
But why is identifying the right target customer so crucial when pursuing government contracts? Well, the government isn't just one big customer.
Instead, it's made up of hundreds of different organizations, each with its own processes for issuing contracts. You don't need to learn how every single one operates. That would be a massive time sink. Instead, focus on a few target organizations and understand how they do business.
And the best way to do this is to look at past contract awards. Now, why look at past contracts? Well, because many government contracts are rebidded regularly.
For instance, if you own a janitorial company, you might discover that a nearby Forest Service site has a janitorial contract that's rebid every 3 years. By looking up the contract, you can find when it was last awarded and when it's due to expire. You'll even find the contact information for the government buyer.
With that information, you can start building relationships with buyers, ensuring that you're in the running when the contract is up for renewal.
Now let's dive into the data. I'm on the Small Business Data Hub website, and here on the top left, you'll see a menu. Click on Local Scorecard. Below that, you'll see the states. I'm selecting Alabama, but feel free to choose your own state. Why start with a state search? It's easier to build relationships with local buyers since you can meet them in person. That's why I recommend starting with the area that's within driving distance of where you are now. The website displays our results on the right, a graph showing the federal contract awards to small businesses in Alabama year by year. Scroll down to see the exact numbers. For example, in 2022, $4.7 billion went to small businesses in Alabama. Clearly, this is a substantial market. Next, go back to the menu and select top funding offices and vendors. This will show you which agencies award the most contracts, which small businesses receive the most funds in the top industries. On the left, I'll filter for the year 2022 and select Alabama. You can refine further by county or congressional district, but for now, I'll look at the whole state. On the right, I'm selecting small business dollars to see the money flowing to small businesses. As we scroll down, we see a graphic showing the top funding offices. These are the government offices issuing contracts. Below, there's a detailed table. Let's go through this table. The first column shows the funding department name, like the Department of Defense, but you won't actually contract with the DoD directly. You'll deal with specific offices within it. So we look at the next column, funding agency name, to see agencies like the Department of the Army, NASA, and others, but that's still too broad. What really matters is the third column, funding office name. This lists the offices you directly contact, like the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center or the U.S. Army Redstone Test Center, for example. If we look at the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center, we see that it awarded $144 million to small businesses in 2022. To dig deeper, you could use another free database called FPDS to find all contracts issued by this office, including who won them, the contract value, and when they expire. This helps you connect with the right buyer and target the contract when it comes up for renewal. There's a separate video in this course that guides you through using FPDS, so you can look up those details. Now let's move on. Click the icon at the top right to exit the full screen view of the table. Scroll down and you'll see a chart showing the top vendors, businesses that received federal contracts ranked by the amount of money they received. Below that, you'll find a table with each vendor's contract amounts. This is useful for identifying both your competitors and potential teaming partners. Teaming is a key part of government contracting, and successful contractors often collaborate with others to win contracts. Now let me show you one more thing. If I switch from small business dollars to total dollars at the top, the graphic now shows large businesses that are winning contracts. This is valuable information because these larger companies might be looking for subcontractors. We'll dive deeper into subcontracting later in the course. Okay, switching back to small business dollars and scrolling down again, we see a graph highlighting the top industries. These are the types of small businesses winning government contracts ranked by the money they receive. For example, the leading category is support services, specifically professional engineering and technical support services. Next is program management support services. Below, a table details the amount spent on each product or service. In Alabama, over $731 million went to small businesses for professional engineering services in 2022, while program management support received over $241 million. Now I'll remove the Alabama filter to view data for the entire country. Click the icon on the right to expand the table, and you'll see the full picture. What you'll notice is that in addition to support services, a lot of funding goes into IT and telecom, broken down into categories like software development, help desk support, and IT management. For example, the government spends over $1 billion a year on help desk services for small businesses. Another example, going back to the top, over $2 billion is spent annually on building repairs for small businesses.
Now it's your turn to go through this process on your own with your own location and create a target list of 3 to 5 customers to focus on.